Alright, let's dive into one of the coolest crafts out there, glass blowing. Imagine turning a blob of molten glass into a beautiful vase, a colorful ornament, or even a quirky little animal. Sounds like magic, right? But it's actually a super fascinating science meets art process that anyone can appreciate. Here's how it works, step by step. First, you need glass. And not just any glass. Most glass blowing uses soda lime glass, which melts at around 1,400 degrees Celsius, or about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's seriously hot. Professionals use a giant furnace to keep the glass at this crazy temperature, so safety gear is a must. Next, I'd grab a special hollow steel tube called a blowpipe. I'd dip the end of this pipe into the molten glass, spinning it to collect a gooey glob, kind of like twirling honey on a stick, except way hotter. Once I've got the right amount, I'd roll the glass on a smooth metal table called a Marver. This shapes it and cools the outer layer so it's not a saggy mess. Now comes the fun part, blowing. I gently blow into the pipe and the air creates a bubble inside the glass. It's basically the same idea as blowing up a balloon, only I have to keep spinning the pipe so gravity doesn't make my glass droop. Want it bigger? I keep blowing and shaping, sometimes using tools like wooden paddles or metal tweezers to tweak the design. If I want to add color, I can roll the glass in powdered pigments or even tiny shards of colored glass. But glass cools fast, so I'd need to keep putting it back in a smaller reheating furnace, called a glory hole. This keeps it soft enough to shape, and I'd repeat the process, blow, shape, heat, until my piece looks just right. Now, to finish, I'd carefully detach my project from the blowpipe using a quick tap and transfer it to a punty rod, basically another metal stick, to work on the other end. When I'm finally done, the glass needs to cool down slowly or it'll crack. So, I'd put it in an annealer, which is like a special oven, to bring the temperature down safely over several hours. And that's it. Glass blowing is a wild mix of art, science, and a little bit of daring. Next time you see a glass sculpture or a fancy hand-blown ornament, you'll know just how much skill and heat went into making it. If you're curious to try it yourself, always start with a class and proper safety gear. Stay curious, and keep exploring new crafts.